Charlie Kirk lays down the hammer on a secular and quite strange pro-social, whatever that means, college girl. Guys, it's gonna be a fun video. I think you're gonna enjoy it. Spoiler alert, she does get a little bit triggered. You'll see what I mean in there. So we're gonna get right into the video and I think you're all gonna like it. But first, everybody, please make sure you like our video, share it around, and subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel. I'm your host, Arian. Let's check it out.
I was hoping we could talk a little bit more about how you see college as a scam.
Okay, I think we did that, but sure. So.
If you want to talk about something else, we can talk about something else. I was just curious.
Okay. What would you like to pinpoint on that?
Yeah, well, I think a big part of your issue is that people are spending a lot of money and that you feel like they're not getting the equivalent of all the money that they go into debt or that they have to borrow to make it worth it. Well, in that case, I think education is really awesome. I think it's really valuable. I think education's the only way that someone like you is able to write a book is because someone taught you how to read and write. And education on all levels is great. So that's not that one. I don't think that's your issue with college, right?
Do you know where I went to college?
I don't think that's important right now. Let me just.
Yeah. I didn't.
I'm just talking. I said read and write. Like, who taught you to read?
No, I agree. I didn't say grade school's a scam.
Can we just keep going? All right.
I said college is a scam, not grade school.
Right.
Keep going.
So we're talking about the financial part, right? So do you think that college should be free then, so that everybody can get like a free education?
No.
Why not?
By the way, what's happening in college is not an education.
Well, okay. You don't think that college should be free because it's not an education? If it was,
no.
Wait. If it was an education in your eyes, would you think that should be free, or
what do you mean by free? You mean paid by somebody else?
Well, sure, taxpayer dollars would go to pay for it.
So paid by somebody else.
Sure.
Sure. No, I don't believe that. Your schooling should be paid by somebody else.
I want my taxes to go to schooling for everybody. I think education's great. I don't want my taxes to go to fund.
I'm sure she's paying just tons of taxes. I'm sure she's a totally contributing member of society, for sure.
I don't want my taxes to go to the military or the police budget, but I don't get to pick.
You don't want any military?
I don't think that it should go to fund the military like that. I want my taxes.
You don't want any police force?
I want my taxes to go towards education because I think education is valuable. Do you think that education should be paid for?
So define education, I'm curious.
Sure, it's just I would probably say that education right now is the ability to go out and learn different mindsets, to be introduced to different subjects, to have the opportunities to talk about these things with a lot of different kinds of people. I think that's the really cool part about college. Someone like you can come here and have different opinions. My history teacher just talked about how he does this whole I'm a conservative, old school conservative act, and then one of my other teachers, she's like, I'm a bleeding hippie, you know? There's a lot of opportunities to just be introduced to subjects you didn't even know were a thing. I didn't know that semiotics was a thing until my last philosophy class, and I think
such a dishonest take, particularly that bit about, there's a conservative and a liberal professor to learn from. Something like 95% plus of college professors identify as Democrats. So don't even give me this crap about how, it's balanced, you can learn everything from everyone. Right, yeah. Is that why they did what they did to Brett Weinstein? Look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. Brett Weinstein, by the way, a leftist professor who got canceled at a university in Washington. It's crazy.
That's really interesting. So just the idea that you get to go out to this place and you get to get taught about a bunch of different ideas. Are you against that being available for everyone?
I have a completely different view of what education is. So education in Latin means to lead forth.
Okay.
Your idea of education is the new age, which is we're going to have a buffet line of postmodern ideas and all ideas are treated the same. I don't believe that at all. College means partnership in Greek. And going back to education, you must lead forth towards something. And I think college should lead you towards the good, the true, and the beautiful.
Okay.
It should lead you towards things.
You think it should lead towards beautiful things?
Of course.
Beautiful things? You think that we should go out after college and be where's the prettiest thing that's around
If your idea
me?
of beauty is just the aesthetic, then you're not having a great college experience.
What's your idea of beauty? My bad.
Which is perfected in being.
Okay, so you really like the Greek ideas and the Roman ideas of the idea of perfection and perfect harmony, because that's a very Greek and Roman way of
it's Western, which is the civilization we currently live in.
Okay, but
let me finish.
From Greek and Roman
Of course, you're right. So the good, the true, and the beautiful are the three things that every college student should grapple with. Do you think in this current university, that is what you're currently grappling with? That the focus of your education is enriching yourself to get closer to what is good, what is true and beautiful?
See, I don't engage with you on the ideas that good, true, and beautiful are something that can be defined and something that can be taught.
You're perfect evidence of what.
And apparently, neither do the college students engage on those ideas of good, true, and beautiful too. I can tell you guys, from my time at Arizona State University, it was bad, all right? You saw students just constantly whacked out on nicotine, weed, whatever. And then on the weekends, and often weeknights too, they'd pursue an even more debauchery, namely getting very drunk and who knows what other drugs. Yeah, I don't see what's good, true, or beautiful about any of that, personally. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments.
I think college is a scam.
Why do you, wait, I don't.
Because of course they could be defined and they should be sought after.
Okay, so you think that something like the beautiful, the perfect, like
Yes.
something like goodness can be defined and quantifiable, teachable. Oh, because you're Christian, I forgot. You guys think
Yes.
that there's like
Yes,
a binary to goodness.
There's a hierarchy, not a binary.
Oh,
there's
okay.
an ultimate perfection. The ultimate
Okay.
perfection would be that there's a creator who loves you, who
Okay.
made you in his image and loved you so much to come down and take the broken flesh form, live a perfect life, die and rise from the dead so that you might live forever. There is nothing more perfect, good, true, or beautiful than that.
Okay, so I don't really engage with religion like that, but what about just the idea that you get to go to a place, you get taught about different subjects, you get the opportunity, okay, I'm sorry, because you don't have access to all these things wherever you come from. You get the opportunity to talk to people who know a lot about these different subjects and get to learn about that. You don't think that
No,
should be free or like provided
First of all, I don't
for?
think it should be free, and I don't think that's what education should be or what it once was when it was at its best.
When do you think it was at its best? Because we have like the Indian golden house of, oh no, I think it was called the
Okay.
Baghdad golden house of wisdom. We have the Greek and Roman, and they had their whole thing about how you have to learn astrology at the same time as learning your education. We
Correct.
have like so many different points of learning and knowledge. I think people just love to learn. I think learning is inherent to what we want to do with our lives.
So two thoughts. That is the first line of Aristotle's metaphysics, which is all people seek to know, that something within us wants to learn. So to answer your question, when was education at its best? It
No,
at
that
its-
was you were the one
Can
who
I
was
finish?
like, education is not at their best here. You're like, this is your new age bullshit. Like,
It is. So
when was it good?
I was about to say that and you interrupted me again,
Oh,
okay?
my bad. I'm
All right.
sorry.
So it was at its best when we had a thing called classical education here in America, specifically around the American founding. Classical education has a prioritization on Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and the core canon of Greek thinking, which is that there is an abstract, distant good, the logos, which created the world, right? I want to try to find out more about what that is.
So you think that education should revolve around ethics then? You think it should be
Well,
teaching
it's a
people?
big part of education. Yes, I think that creating good people should be the number one priority of education.
Okay.
Do you guys think that creating good people is a priority at Cal State Fullerton?
I don't think that that is really a thing that you can achieve like with a pointed. I don't think there's a way to really teach somebody being a good person is so hard, and it involves
hard.
so
I
many
could prove it
different
to you,
like
though.
factors.
I could prove to you
I think
how
that
we could do it.
We're getting a little bit too general with things because
No.
the Greeks and
There is a way you can teach people to be a good person. Preach a consistent set of morals and values, whatever they may be. Many would argue Christianity for obvious reasons. And then enforce those and follow those. So it is that simple. Not saying it's easy, but it is that simple.
Romans,
I'll
they
prove it
were
to you.
really like they had a lot of beliefs, okay? Plato and Aristotle were not like, let's do the most good. They were not all in agreement about all these different things. They had a lot of different
they had a teacher-student relationship. But let me ask you a question. Do you think people would commit more crimes or less crimes if they knew that a police officer was watching them at all times?
I don't think this is what we're talking about, bro.
You said you cannot teach people good. I'm asking a question. If somebody thought that somebody was watching their actions, would they behave differently?
I think that people behave differently when
Yes.
people watch their
Therefore,
actions.
if society thought that there was a God that was watching all of their actions, would they behave differently?
Do you feel like you behave better when someone is watching your actions?
Absolutely. And in fact,
So you feel like you can't be good without someone there to observe
it's not a matter of you can't be good, is that you act better if you think that there is somebody watching and judging your actions.
That feels really unfortunate for you, because I want to do good because I think it's better for the people around me, not because someone's watching me. That's like the ideas of the panopticon.
Well, hold on a second. But if you believe that somebody is always watching your behavior, you'd be less likely to lie, less likely to steal, less likely to cheat. And this is a good question, because you're coming after this in good faith. Do you think human beings are generally naturally good or generally not so good? Are we flawed from our birth, or are we good, or are we a blank slate?
See, you're bringing up these Christian ideas of good again. I don't think we really come to the same synthesis.
Being good is a Christian idea now? Ugh. Sure, it's involved in Christianity, and Christians strive to be good, but you can have an objective definition of good without being Christian. I would hope, at least. I don't know, maybe you can't. It seems like she's possibly making the case for that.
What a good person is.
Okay,
I feel like
was Hitler good?
I feel like, again, you're not listening to me. I feel like we don't come to the same synthesis about what good is, because for me, I think that something like good is, again, the question of ethics. It's not really a question of education, right? So you have to decide
but super simple. It's
what
not
people decide for themselves is good is different, right? So Hitler thought what he was doing was good for his people. We do not see his actions as good because he was pretty awful to a lot of people. But when we turn things into an ethical question, he may see it as doing good for himself and God, because yes, a lot of people believe they're doing good for God, even if that thing is killing people.
Was Hitler doing something objectively wrong?
Which thing are you talking about? You're talking about the
concentration
genocide?
Camps.
No, I don't like the concentration camps, believe it or not.
But hold on, you don't like, so was that objectively bad?
Objectively bad? I do think that hurting people is objectively bad.
Okay, so now we're believing in bad. So then good, there's a spectrum now. You said objectively bad. So you now just said there's a spectrum. It's not a matter of, well, somebody wanted to do some good for yourself. No. Now there's a spectrum. Concentration camp, bad. So then let's get away from that. How about Mother Teresa? Good?
Are you talking about her actions in trying to help the poor?
Hundreds of thousands of poor people that were saved in India and Calcutta thanks to her sacrificial work over 30 years.
I don't know Mother Teresa like that, but can we go back to I feel like we've gotten really off track.
No,
for one,
actually, you're talking about the most important thing, because...
Hey, dude, you're interrupting me again.
Well, it is kind of our table. So,
so you can interrupt me, but I can't interrupt you.
Hold on. The fact you can't answer this question shows that college is a scam, because if you can't say that Mother Teresa good and Hitler
Mother Teresa denied anesthetics to people who were in serious pain because she thought the suffering would bring them closer to God. I think a lot of what she did could be considered.
That to be true.
Okay,
but I'll take
whatever. We can't just reference random things and use that, because right now we're talking about ideologies. Again, I find that what I consider to be good revolves more around the fact that humans are social creatures, and generally pro-social attitudes of promoting collectivism tends to be better for people, just because that's in our evolutionary nature. You are a Christian, so you believe that there's a guy watching you, and that's what makes you do good. You're like,
it's not.
If someone's watching me, I am more likely to be nice. But I want to be nice because I like how other reasons to do good.
I was asking the question that...
What's interesting is, she goes after Charlie for being a Christian, saying, well, you only act good because God's watching over you. Yet you notice her reason for saying she acts good. Well, I act good because, I like it, and I like how people treat me after that. You notice that selfishness in that? Me. Well, I'm being good because, I just want people to be good to me. Yet somehow Charlie's the villain because he acts good because, in her oversimplified version of events, God is watching over him. Doesn't it seem that, if anything, Charlie is being more selfless compared to the girl? Because according to her own description, he's doing it to appease an authority, whereas she's doing it to appease herself. Food for thought.
Would you be more or less likely to shoplift if a police officer was next to you in a department store? It's a very simple ethical question.
But how does that make me good or not? That just makes me worried about consequences. No, it makes me worried about consequences, you little face man.
If you do not have consequences...
But consequences does not determine ethics.
The mark of an intellectual fool is throwing around pejoratives when they don't have wisdom. Remember that. So, the question is this.
Rigor.
If you do not believe there's a consequence to your action, why wouldn't you do the action?
See, that's, again, the ideology of consequentialism. I don't really subscribe
Yes,
to that.
there
I
should
think
be
that,
consequences.
No, but I think that consequences, your actions can exist outside of a vacuum of consequences, right? We can't make our decisions based on whether or not we think the actions will lead to a certain outcome, because those will always be random, right? So I revolve more around, we try to do things that we think will promote.
Those will always be random? What? Not really. If you go and commit a crime and police will consistently enforce laws against that crime, guess what? The reaction to that is not going to be random. Does she even hear what she's saying? Ugh.
General pro-social attitudes. I think that is more likely to get us, other than worrying about that.
Let me ask you a hypothetical. This will tell me a lot. Is pedophilia wrong?
Pedophilia, I consider to be wrong because it is actively damaging someone else, right?
But what if they say they're a minor attracted person and it's pro-social to be with a young person? Why are they wrong?
Do you know what pro-social means? Like, pro-social means, there's like pro-social and antisocial behaviors. It's like a theory of social psychology. Pro-social generally means like working together, socialization.
No, they're socializing with an 8-year-old. Why is that wrong?
Okay, that's not socializing, and you know it. Antisocial behavior usually means doing things that are considered rejecting socialization, like rejecting other people, pushing things away, promoting things that other people actively end up considering less.
So then should pedophiles go to prison?
Pedophiles go to... I do not know what's the best way to handle pedophilia, because... No, because how do we know... I don't think that anyone should molest a child, God forbid.
But hold on.
I really don't.
Why shouldn't a pedophile go to prison?
What? That's... Again, we're getting really off topic. Let's go back to the ideas of good and evil and
we're talking about college as a scam, and you're a perfect example, like one of the best I've ever seen to show the intellectual drivel that is caught on a college campus.
You see that? She can't even admit that pedophiles should go to prison. Let me take it a step farther. Not only should they go to prison, but they should be unalived.
That I'm not being taught about the good, the pure. Well, let's go back to that, because I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, the good, the true, and the we'll do a couple more minutes. The good, the true, and the beautiful, yes.
Right, so you think that that's something that can be quantified, can be taught, and that it...
And experienced.
And not only that, that it should be taught, that we should promote the ideas of good and beauty to other people.
Correct.
Okay, but let's remove it from that. What about just the idea of... Because remember, the ancient Greeks and Romans that you love so much, they didn't have the same ideas of God in the same way that we do. But they still, thank you for saying I'm correct. That was really nice of you.
It's true, you're right.
So when they wanted to learn, when they sought out learning, when they had schools of learning and all that kind of stuff, a lot of the times they didn't just teach things around ethics. They taught other stuff. They taught astrology, they taught medicine, they taught science, they taught arts, and people wanted to learn that. Do you think that that ability, that experience of going into a place and saying, can you teach me more about this subject? Can I learn? Can I expand my worldview? Can I get open to different beliefs? Do you think that that should not be paid for or not be compensated?
First of all, it should definitely not be paid for. Secondly, it depends if those disciplines are rooted in the pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty.
So you think only if they're tied into something that falls in your ideological worldview?
Can I finish? Okay.
I'm sorry.
If those disciplines are rooted in the good, the true, and the beautiful, absolutely. Let me give you a hypothetical example.
Okay.
So if you go, I don't know if this school has one, but if they have some sort of center for like feminist ideology or some sort of do they have one here? Then that is not in the pursuit of what is good, true, and beautiful. That is in the pursuit of how I can complain and hate men and get a degree and be paid for that.
Well, everybody, that exchange goes on for quite a while, so it unfortunately did end there, but we hope you enjoyed the video, everybody. Please be sure to comment below, let us know what you liked, what you want to see next, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks so much, and God bless.